Hey, welcome to day 5 of our 10-day mobility series. Today we're going to be focusing on the anterior chain of the body. That basically just means down the front of the body, hitting some of the quads, some of the hips, and some more. Let's let Molly take us through this routine.
We're going to begin in our 90-degree lunge today. So just going nice and high on the knees, stepping the right foot forwards, and basically you're just looking for a 90-degree lunge. We're going to work on some pelvic tilts to really get into our hip flexors here. So what I want you to do, just place your hands on your hips. And I want you to imagine that your hips are made out of a bowl, and we're just tilting the bowl forwards and then tilting it back. So as we go back, we're just relaxing that hip flexor a little bit. As we tuck under, hopefully we should start to feel a little bit of a release here. And depending on how loose the spine is today, the lower back, is how much you'll have a movement within the pelvis. So don't worry if it's not too large, but if you can, really try and over-exaggerate that movement. Good, so tucking the hips under, and then you're pushing your bottoms all the way back. So it might feel a little bit uncomfortable if there's a lot of tension here. We'll just do a couple more on this side. Last one. And then we're going to come into our lizard lunge. So we're going to take our foot to the edge of our mat, place our hands under our shoulders. If we need to use our blocks, just popping them underneath the hands, whether it's to support the wrists or just bring the floor closer to you. And whenever you feel more open, you can tuck the left toes under, maybe begin to edge that knee away. Maybe that feels too much right now, so just keep it a little bit closer towards the hips. So there's a few options that we can take with our foot. We can leave it as it is. To give more space, we can turn the toes out around 45 degrees. Another option is to roll it onto what we call the knife edge of the foot, so just the outer edge of the foot. What we're going to do, we're going to add in an arm rotation today. So with our right arm, we're going to circle it all the way back. Maybe we drop the hip down a little bit. Maybe we keep it high, and then we bring it back round. We're going to do that 3 more times. So really lifting, opening the chest towards the sky, bringing that arm back to the front. Let's just take 2 more this side. And again, depending on the range of motion you have in shoulders and hips is how this movement will look. So it doesn't really matter how it looks, it's about how it feels. So let's heel toe that foot back towards the center of the mat. Using your core to bring yourself up to kneeling, and then we're going to change sides. Nice save. So again, just that 90-degree lunge, coming into those pelvic tilts. So placing your hands, so we're really trying to tuck the tailbone under and then push it as far away as we can. So it's that rocking sensation. And you'll know when we've tucked it under enough, because we might get a little bit of a fiery sensation running down our right hip flexor. Good, and you might find that this side is a little bit more loose, more easy, or maybe this side has a bit more tension, so feel free to stay a little bit longer than ourselves in this movement. We're trying to make it nice and smooth, so avoid letting it be clunky into each position, just to protect all of those tissues and ligaments. We'll just take 1 more each direction. Lovely, and then again, heel toe that left foot to the outer edge of the mat, planting the hands under shoulders, maybe bringing that floor to you with the blocks. And again, the knee can stay as it is. Maybe it needs to come closer, or maybe you can tuck those toes and extend that knee slightly further away. And if you do suffer with any pains in the knees when they're pressing on the ground, you can always double up your mat or place a cushion or something soft underneath just to give yourself some more comfort. You don't ever have to struggle in these positions. So again, option again is to turn the toes out, roll onto the knife edge of the foot. And as I always say, just feel where you are this side. You don't ever have to mirror right to left. Sometimes each side feels pretty even. Sometimes we naturally have an imbalance, so just work with what's here. And then we're going to add that rotation. So this time we lift that left arm up towards the sky and then back to the back of the room. Bringing it back over our head. And it can be as static as you want, or if you have a little bit more range of motion, maybe we begin to drop that underneath hip down towards the mat. And we're just going to roughly do 2 or 3 more. Again, whenever you do these practices, feeling free to take any movements a little bit slower, maybe doing more if that's what your body's needing. Lovely, and then we will walk that foot back into the center, bring ourselves all the way back up to that 90-degree lunge, and we're going to come on our knees. Our next posture is called a hero posture, so it's a modified hero. So what we're going to do, we're going to extend our left foot forwards, and then our right foot, we're going to see if we can bring our heel as close as we can to the hip, and then we're going to tuck it to the side of the leg. If that's super uncomfortable, we can just have the foot on the inside of the thigh today. Good. Make it a little bit easier, you can take it a little bit wider. If you feel like you're rocking over onto that left hip, you can place a block underneath the bottom just to square off the alignment of the pelvis. And then all we're going to do is place our hands behind us. This might be enough. As and when that hip flexor and quad begins to be a little bit more open, then you can maybe walk onto the forearms. But wherever we are, we want to try and open the chest towards the sky rather than sink into those shoulder joints. And for those that have even more space, option is to slowly come down onto the back, take the arms out to the side. But there's no need to force yourself into any position that does not feel right. Just go with what's here. And just breathe, especially when we hold a more static stretch, the mind can become quite busy. It can just focus on where you feel tension. So instead of focusing on the tension, think about how the breath is. Is the breath short and tight? If it is, can you make it a little bit longer on the inhale? A bit longer on the exhale. Good, and you can always, as Tom's doing, place some blocks behind you, whether you rest forearms or hands on those as well. To come out, we just gently walk up onto our hands, bring our leg back into the hip, extend, maybe shake off that leg, and then we'll take it on the other side. So heel as close as you can to the hip, and then we open out to the side. Maybe this side's easier already, so using any modifications with the props, whether you have it under your hips, under your hands, and then we slowly take our hands behind us. This might be enough. Maybe this side you come onto the forearms, maybe this side you lie all the way down onto the back. But again, remember that we're not into those shoulders, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and we also get a little bit of a chest release here. So we're just going to stay here for a little while longer, coming into any variation. If the body opens, you can go a little bit deeper. If it feels too stressful, always know that it's okay to come out and relax. Maybe fully, maybe just soften the posture. But always listen to what your body's telling you rather than trying to make yourself look a certain way as we hold these positions. And again, just concentrate on breathing, steadying that breath, we steady the mind. And when you feel like you've had enough, you feel like the stretch has reached a certain point, then we just slowly, softly bring ourselves out, squeezing it in, unraveling. Maybe give those legs a shake. What we'll do, we'll come into a little windshield wiper, take the feet around mat width apart, just rocking those hips side to side, loosening it off. Then we're just going to finish with what we call our broken wing. So it's quite a deep chest stretch. What we're going to do, we're going to lie on our fronts. And we're going to start on the right side. So right cheek comes onto the mat, right arm extends out to the side in line with the shoulder, and then we press the left hand into the ground. Bend the left knee, step the foot over, placing the foot on the floor if we can, and we're sending the knee up towards the sky. And the chest stretch depends on what's going on there. So to make it a little bit deeper, you can push into that left hand to rotate a little bit more. If you have even more space, maybe lifting that left arm up to the sky and then planting it behind the lower back. Maybe seeing if you can open the hip by lifting the knee to the sky and seeing if you can plant the foot all the way down, but don't worry if that's not an option. Good, it'll come over time. If the arm's behind the lower back, we'll gently bring it back to the side. Very slowly roll onto the belly. And then we switch sides. So resting our left side of the face onto the floor, extending the left arm, bending into that right elbow, bend the right knee, and then we just step it over. We're going to stay here for just a short while. Same option is to stay here or to reach that right arm, placing it behind the lower back. And whenever you hold a posture, you always have an option to close the eyes, to just bring yourself into whatever feelings are going on within the muscles. If there's busyness in the mind, maybe it just allows you to just calm down a little bit more into the posture and hopefully allow you to open a little bit more into this range of motion. Lovely, we'll gently release, roll back onto our bellies. Walk the hands back into the body, maybe finishing the child's pose again, or maybe just coming straight onto your knees, readying yourself for the rest of your day.
So that's it for this routine. Make sure you join us for the next video, day 6, where we're going to be focusing on the posterior chain, working up the back of the body. I'll link it in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button, give it a like, check out Molly's channel, that's linked in the description below, and see you again soon.